Welcome, ladies and gents, to the War Down Museum here in Luton. Named, of course, because war, it gets you down. But we are, of course, going to play our game here today at the Power Court. No, not Luton Crown Court, but their stadium is now called Power Court instead of Kenilworth Road. So, without further ado, let's head on into Football Manager and let's have a little look at those catch-up games. Okay, quickly before we dive into today's catch-up, I've got a couple of transfers to show you because, well, they play in some of the catch-up games, so it would spoil it if I showed you the catch-up games prior. The first one is Toby Civic. Now, he's coming in as cover. As you can see, he can play across the defence, he can play in central midfield, he can play as a defensive midfield. Very solid all-round player at the back. Ugandan, 26 years of age, 31 international caps, 2.5-star, 3-star potential. We don't expect him to get much better. He is a fringe player, as you can see, on £2.5 grand, so we're paying him quite well, but he doesn't expect to get much game time, and that's not what he's going to get anyway. So he's going to be chilling out on the bench. He's probably going to get more game time than he's expecting, so it's a win-win all round. Valued at 1.6 million to 2.3. If you're interested in his history, well, as you can see, we got him from San Jose, and he's had one appearance for us. As you can see, didn't pick up a goal in any of our catch-up games, but a 6.8 is a pretty decent rating. Prior to that, he was at Montreal, where they picked him up from Derby County, who previously bought him for 1.4 million from Barnsley. Barnsley had him previously from Wimbledon for 350 grand. But the big transfer, my friends, is this one, Jose Ayrton. As you can see, he's an 18-year-old Brazilian. This guy might have a chance of squeezing himself maybe on the bench of the Brazilian team. He's got to get some youth cap. Surely every Brazilian's had at least one youth cap in the world. 850 grand to 3.5 million is his valuation. Only paying him 1.5 grand per week as well. He's on a lengthy contract. I think he's on 4 years plus 3 additional. Maybe I didn't do the 3 additional. I think you might have got us to take that out. But a 4-year contract for this guy on £1.5 grand. Pretty dang good. Important player, 3.5-star, but he's got the potential to be 4, maybe 5-star. He's a winger on that left-hand side, coming in to improve Lubala. Lubala's a solid player, but he's just not up to this level, or at least he's not up to being a starter at this level. So, where is Ayrton from? Well, as you can see, he's 18 years of age, so he hasn't had much of a career. He's had 3 seasons over in Brazil's first division, and as you can see, he's been pretty darn good. He's one appearance for us thus far, though, rather disappointing on a 6.3. As you can see, the first of today's catch-up games ended in a ball draw against Sheffield Wednesday. And, well, we was the much better side. As you can see from the XG, we had a solid 2. And they had a 0.3. We also dominated in shots 14-4, as well as having more possession. Unlike our FA Cup tie against West Ham, which saw us go a goal down 71 minutes in. Although we fought valiantly, Bowen went from provider then to scorer on the 78th minute before Vokes put one away from the penalty spot. And capping off this trio of home ties is a game against Hull City, and although he was denied his hat-trick, our big Geffy meat did penetrate those Tigers twice to pick himself up a brace. As well as our 2 brand new transfers, I let a couple of players go, as you can see over on the right hand side. We've got rid of Chanka Zimba for 77,000 to Power Dynamo, and Billy Chadwick to Rotherham for 35 grand. Now, Billy Chadwick, that feels a bit on the cheap side, to be honest. I can't quite remember how much we bought Billy Chadwick in for. As you can see, 14 grand to 140 is what he's valued at for them. For us, he was valued more like 300 odd thousand at the top end. So he's worth less now. As you can see, we have lost quite a bit of money. We bought him in for 115 grand. But honestly, I can't see him working out up in the Championship. Yes, he did decent at League One for us, 6.75. But yeah, he's just really not been doing a whole lot. He's been sitting in our reserves. yes, it would have been nice to hold on to him, develop, but I feel like the longer we held on to him, his age was going to get the better of him, because Billy Chadwick is at 26 years of age now. By the time he hits 27, 28, his valuation's going to drop down. We're not going to really get much back from him. So I thought, get him out the door, clear a bit of wage bill, it'll allow us to spend and get players in like Jose, for example. Jose, we needed a bit of cash, get a little bit of wage budget going to get him in. So I'm disappointed at losing Billy Chadwick, but it's for a good cause. Now, Chanka Zimba, 77 grand. I believe we made a decent bit of profit on him. I think he's... Okay, yes, 5 grand. So we made 72 grand of profit minus any wages we paid over the last 3 seasons. So a nice little bit of money back from him. And to be honest, he's going to have fun over in Zambia. He scored 1 goal in 4 so far. He only made 3 in 13 for us in League 1. 7 rating though. He wasn't too bad. He was a decent third choice striker, but like I said, third choice. We don't particularly need him. So we're getting rid of him. I'd like to get the likes of Samuel Vokes, for example, off our books, because we're paying him a lot of wage. Just sit on the bench, a former starter, not going to really be our championship starter. But enough rambling from me. Let's go play our game, shall we? Okay, ladies and gents, match day is finally upon us. The fixtures are, of course, above my head, but we are going to crack on with things here today. As you can see, we're still in a rather ridiculously good position right now. Up in 10th, we've in fact moved up, even though we didn't have the best of results in those past 3 games. Sheffield Wednesday being the most disappointing one of the 3, of course, and one of them, well, it wasn't even in the league, of course, because we was taking on West Ham in the FA Cup, where we lost narrowly in a 2-1 loss. So we are going to apply the opposition instructions. It's a perfect pitch condition here today. 17,454 tickets have been sold out of a 17,500 capacity. So only 46 seats are empty, besides any which have bought tickets and then don't turn up, I guess. Luton in 14th versus York in 10th. It is, of course, a drizzly 4 degrees Celsius and calm, and they are going for a 5-2-1-2. Interesting choice of formation. They've even got Totti in defence, although I don't think that's the Totti that's in my brain. Beck probably is the Beck that's in my brain though. So let's head on over to our team selection and let's have a little look at who's going to be playing here today for us. It's the usual suspects. In fact, yes, it is completely the usual suspects, of course, bar a couple of players who are still injured. So Bynes is still out injured, Hall is still out injured, and our team here today is George in goal, the backline of Fleming, Terry, Adiapan and Shakin Stevens. On the wings is Jose, Ayrton and Williams. In between is Lawless, and sitting in our central midfield is Rowley and Sorensen, with the big girthy meat up front where he belongs. We then have our bench consisting of Prisbeck, Klein, Shipley, Sibic, Lubala, Weiss and Samuel Vokes. But without further ado, let's head on over to the pitch side. Okay, so we've entered the power court. And, well, it is, of course, time to give our team talk before today's game. We are going for a punch fist mentality. And I think we need to show everyone that their recent praise is justified. Put on a real show out there. Lawless, Big Girthy Meat, Adipan, and Weiss are already motivated before I've even ushered a single word. That I love to see, but as you can see, a bunch more people are motivated now, although Jose, a little bit disappointed in you, and the rest of the bench besides, of course, White, who was already prior motivated anyways. So, oh, that was a quick goal by Derby County, 1-0 up against Bournemouth in that match. Now, I'm debating whether we go to Bournemouth in the next episode or whether we go to Middlesbrough. That is because Eddie Howe Arena is now the stadium of Bournemouth, and, well, I just want to go to the Riverside. Not going to finish that one, but Big Heavy Meat, 19 minutes in. Nice. It's going to be put up to the 20th minute. They are going to round it up, but a nice early insertion of our Big Heavy Meat through Luton. And he unloads. Lawless plays it back to Shakin Stevens, who whips it in. Big Heavy Meat in the centre, drops to the back post and wins the header to nod it past the goalkeeper. Lovely to see. Millwall's game is already 1-1, by the way. Brandon Fleming is going to throw it. I cannot speak today, clearly. Not in a way, though. Thankfully, our players can play today, but Brad, Brady is going to play it over the top. It's a nice ball, but our defence is closing down and pushing Danilo out wide. Danilo Pereira, in fact, it's Berry. It's blocked, but it goes back to Brady. That was unfortunate. The blocked shot bouncing back to another one of their players sitting in the box. Can't really blame Georges for that. Can't even really blame our defence for that. That's just an unfortunate goal. These things happen. We did a great job to push their player out wide. Unfortunately, when he does play it across to Berry, Berry's shot is blocked here at the near post. Maybe, just maybe, Brandon, you could have played it anywhere other than letting it deflect off you over to Brady, but I can't be too harsh on you. That wasn't completely your fault. It just sort of hit the wrong leg. Maybe just move your leg though, you know. Give it a little flick as you know it's going to contact you. Flick your leg away. Try and divert it a little bit, even if you don't completely get it away from the other guy. Anyways, Purinton is going to get here on the left-hand side. Whips it in. It's a free header, thankfully. It goes sailing over. Little hash, in fact. Wasn't really free, but it was a pretty good opportunity regardless. Will Adipan on 6-4 does need to play a little bit better for us. Now, Blackburn 1-0 up against QPR in that one. Millwall is 2-2 against Barnsley. We've got Stoke 1-0 up against Nottingham Forest. Peterborough sadly is 1-0 up against West Bromwich Albion. So, as you can see, it's rather even on the shots, 7 apiece. We've had 3 on target, they've had 2. So, we do need to pick things up just a little bit. Possession, 57-43. So, we have been, I would say, narrowly the better team, but we do need a little bit more from the lads. So, I'm going to ask for just that. I'm proud of everyone's efforts so far. Am I, though? We've got a couple of players. No, I'm not. I don't like what I saw from this team. Going to be a bit more harsh today. Got them motivated. Glad to see it didn't demotivate the players who are playing decent. Just a general shout to play a little bit better. Hull City's doing a great job, by the way, against top of the league right now, grabbing themselves a point in a 0-0 draw at home. Georges, or George, for you normal people, has collected the ball, but what is he going to do with this one? He is being closed down, weirdly. Weirdly, their striker is just going to come up and hug him at the moment. Georges, though, plays it over to Jose. Jose nods it down for Lawless. Lawless with a little bit of space, tries to get through to the Big Effie meet. Oh, Big Effie doesn't get onto it, but Williams does. Unfortunately, his shot went to possibly the only part of the goal where Walter was going to get it. Bit of power, bit to the right instead of the left. Probably a goal. Instead, it's a tap past our defence, and now they're going to play it out to Kioso. Kioso on this right-hand side. Can he get to the good delivery going? Fleming should really go and mark someone instead of just standing in between. Thankfully, though, the header goes wide, and we remain at 1-1. So, 63rd minute, usual substitution time. Most of our players are still pretty fit. Adiapan is having a rough game though, so we shall take off some players who are struggling. We've got Adiapan who's struggling, Brandon is, Ayrton, so our whole left side, Williams over on the right, Rowley isn't having the greatest of games. You know what? Let's try and get a bit more out of Rowley by moving him over there. Sorensen, could you move up to this spot perhaps? Is there an alternative spot we could possibly put you in, Sorensen? No, you like to be there. Maybe as a right back. That's going to be a bit more risky though. He's on a yellow card. We don't really want to do that. So, Sibic could possibly come on. Gonna move you over there for now. Sibic, I guess, is going to come in here. Adiapan for Shipley. We can then... Brandon, you're going to have to just keep struggling over on that wing. We can only take either you or Adiapan off. Adiapan's having a worse game. So, Jose, we could move Brandon up. Unfortunately, we would have to bring on Klein though, and I don't particularly want to bring on Klein. So, that's the whole Shipley on for our central defender or winger. Could at a push take them both off, but... Lubala? Weiss? Oh, it's a tough decision. It's a toughie indeed. I guess Lubala is slightly better than Weiss. So Lubala can go over on that wing. That's a difficult one having those two on the bench. But it's ball being whipped in by Dowley. Ooh, Thank you, Brandon, nodding it away, showing why I kept you on, of course. Not the fact that you are struggling marginally less than some other players. Lawless, Jesus. Thankfully, he was the one who ended up getting the free kick. It wasn't him who won it. It was the offside of the other player. Thought Lawless had took him out. Lubala, though, whipping the free kick in back post. Roll, is it the post? Campbell, though, on the counter-attack for Luton. Gets up to Dowell. Where's he going to go with this one? Dowell back to Kioso. Kioso, he taps it, and it's the end of that highlight. So, we are, in fact... Actually, we should probably see how this highlight goes. I was going to demand more. I want to see how this highlight works out. Because if they score, I'm going to demand after, not before. So it's ball in and... Well, guess we're going attacking, ladies and gents. Guess we are going attacking because... Well, 1-0 up and we it up. Thankfully, it wasn't 2-0 up. 2-0 up would have felt a lot worse. But we are going to demand more. Where is Luton, by the way? 14th. Okay, this isn't as disappointing as it feels. But considering the first half when we was narrowly better, it does suck that we've been the worst team in this half, and it's probably going to be the thing that costs us. So, Blackburn, 2-0 up in their game against QPR, but our game is just coming to an end, sadly. So, I apologise for half of our team playing rather badly. I also apologise if you can hear all that movement in the background from the other room. But that is the conclusion of today's episode. That was a loud bang. You definitely heard that one. I'm sorry for that. But I thank you all for joining us in this one. I hope you join us in the next one where we'll either be going to Middlesbrough's Riverside or we'll be heading over to Bournemouth's Eddie Howe Arena. But again, I thank you all for joining us in this one. Hopefully you all have a lovely night and goodbye.
12 o'clock midnight.
Remove the head, remove the brain, remove the head, remove the brain.